Hey guys, welcome to week 1 of our mobility videos. And in these next couple of weeks we're going to address any tight restrictions in our major joints. For a number of reasons. It's going to actually kind of loosen up our bodies. We're going to get full range of motion back. So it's going to make our life easier, whether we're at work or on the weekends at play. It's also going to avoid any kind of potential injuries that we may get when working out if we've got full range of motion. So with these videos, the first couple of videos, I want to make sure that it doesn't take a lot of time to do, no more than 10 minutes. We're going to focus on different parts of the body, and also that we're not going to really need any special equipment for these first couple of weeks. Later on we might need something like a mobility ball, but the first couple of weeks that's not necessary for us. So it's a very, very little buy-in. It's going to be very easy to do, and it may be these videos or exercises that we've never done before. We're new to stretching, so we're just going to ease our way into it. Alright, let's get started. So we're going to address the biggest joint in our body, our hips, and all these big muscles and tissues that surround and support those hips. So we're going to look at our glute, our butt muscle, and also our hip flexors and our quads. These are the major muscle groups that kind of get really tight for us and causes all kind of restrictions, tight lower back, issues in our hip crease and our knees as well. So let's look at number 1. First thing that we're going to do is what's called a couch stretch. And it's basically an enhanced version of what you see a lot of runners do when they rest and they're trying to stretch out their quad, but this is going to be way more effective. So I've just got these boxes here, but you can do it up against any wall that you need in your bedroom or in the office, anywhere that you're at. And what we're going to do with this one here is we're going to try and get that knee as close to the corner as we can. If we're really tight here, we may have to move our knee a little bit away. So I'm going to get that knee in that gap there, and I'm going to try and post up so this leg here, the shin is nice and vertical. Now, to start with, it's okay if I'm just in this position and I haven't come up all the way just yet. I'm going to squeeze my butt, I'm going to squeeze my belly, and I'm going to actually push my hips towards the floor. Pushing towards the floor, I'm feeling the stretch right along here. I'm going to keep on breathing. And then after about 30 seconds or so, if I feel good, I'm going to start coming up a little bit further. That's going to increase the stretch. I'm going to continue to breathe, squeeze my butt, my belly, hips are still going forwards. After a long time, if I feel good, I can still come up even further as long as I'm keeping this nice and tight. If I relax and I start to flare out my rib cage, no good, we've lost the stretch. So there's nothing wrong with staying here. We want to be here for 2 minutes. So 2 minutes on one leg, and then we swap over, 2 minutes on the other leg. Once again, this is nice and straight. I'm starting here, I'm squeezing, everything is tight, I'm breathing, I'm coming up when I can. Alrighty, so that's stretch number 1. Alright, so we've just addressed the front of our body with our hip flexors and our quads when we did that couch stretch. Now we're going to address our glutes and the back of our body and behind our hips here. So we're doing what they call a pigeon pose. And this is really going to kind of give us that nice stretch. It's going to give us some freedom in the tightness of our back as well. And to get into this position here, I'm going to be in a bit of a plank position. I'm going to sweep one leg through while keeping that other leg behind me. I'm going to be nice and tall in the spine. So there's a very similar pose in yoga, and we tend to kind of round over, but we tend to lose that stretch when we do so. So for this one, I'm going to use my arms to support me. My spine and my torso is nice and tall. And I'm just going to send my hips back and try and relax. Now the other thing to keep in mind is what this shin is doing. I'm going to try and angle it so there's a nice 90 degrees. I can even kind of lock in my foot or adjust my shin here. And now I'm getting a deep stretch. If this is too intense, it's okay if that shin slides back a little bit. That's fine. Now, if this ends up ever being too easy, I can start to lean towards my foot, or I can lean towards my knee, still with a tall spine, and now I'm capturing different areas of that hip capsule. So once again, we're spending 2 minutes on either side, Still breathing, staying nice and tall for here. Alrighty. Okay. So if that felt actually quite challenging on the floor for the pigeon pose, there's two other versions that we can do to kind of ease ourselves into a very similar stretch. It's still going to give us a bit of relief in the tight glute area. First one here, once again we can be up against the wall. I'm going to be in what looks like squat position, but I'm actually on the floor. So my shins are nice and vertical, my feet are pointed straight ahead, just outside, more like my shoulder hips. I've got this nice squat pattern happening here. All I'm going to do is fold one foot over, cross my leg. I'm just going to gently push on that knee to try and open up that leg to get that stretch. You probably feel it around here. So it's nice and gentle. I'm pressing on that knee. I'm breathing through it. My lower back is pressed into the floor. So it's a nice version to get a very similar stretch. Or if we're in the office and we're feeling tight, or we're at an airport, another nice version as well is just crossing our legs. Doesn't take long at all. Doesn't look weird as well. If there's people around, we're going to stay nice and tall in our spine. We're going to lean forwards to kind of get more of a stretch here. And then once again, we're gently going to push down on that knee with our hand. Keep breathing. We can also go to the side. Alright, so let's recap week one. Really simple, only two major stretches that we're going through, 2 minutes each side. So we've got the couch stretch there, where we're trying to address the front of our legs and our hips, our hip flexor and our quad. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. And then we're going to do the glute stretch, 2 minutes each side. So that's either pigeon pose or one of the other two versions that we did when we were kneeling on the floor or we're sitting on the chair as well. So 2, 4, 6, 8 minutes and your mobility is done. Good work. I'll see you next week.